Story 1. Telling my daughter she can say goodbye to the rest of her college fund? My daughter is 17 and applying for colleges. We have a college fund saved up for her that we've been adding to since she was an infant. It's a good sizable chunk of money, and a lot of donations from family have gone into it as well as her own savings occasionally. We have always made it clear that the money in there is for college only. She never had to put her savings in there, has a separate savings account, but did so anyway. Anyway, her girlfriend lives in Australia and they are both insanely big Supernatural fans. They have both wanted to go to a convention for years, at least 5 that I can remember. 2 of the main guys are going to be at a convention in Australia. She begged me to let her go. I said no, but the con is set for after her 18th. I can't stop her if she pays for it. I assumed she would use her savings. I checked the college account to add some in and noticed a chunk of money missing. I went to speak to my daughter about it and she admitted to using the money to pay for the convention. She bought herself plane tickets, her girlfriend plane tickets, other end of the country, both of their con tickets as well as booking a hotel. The con is 3 or 4 days, but she's planning on staying for a couple weeks and making a vacation out of it. All in all, she's taken about 10K. I lost it, honestly. Demanded she cancel, which fell on deaf ears. I tried to cancel for her, but she won't be refunded everything, so I'm hesitant to do so. She's insisting that it's her money and she can do what she likes with it. Claims she still has enough for college and this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I believe this has shown her extreme immaturity and inability to manage her future and money. I am so incredibly angry that she would go and do this. I told her she could say goodbye to the rest of her college fund and have locked the account. I'm now the only person with access. She said she'll pay it back, but it seems unlikely. My wife thinks I'm being harsh and that she's right. She put at least 5K into the account herself, so she really only took 5K, which my mother-in-law has since said she'll pay back. I think this just teaches her she can pay her way out of messes. I was certain in MH's decision, but everyone is acting like I'm the a-hole. She's a teenage girl and her entire life shouldn't revolve around college. Comment 1. I say NTA if you are going to make her pay back $5,000. I don't think she should have had access to withdraw from the fund in the first place, but I guess it was set up in her name and could be withdrawn from at 18. The money was set aside school, not just for whatever she wanted. I think the rest should stay for school only. She's lost the privilege of unrestricted access to the account. Comment 2. I don't think you should take the rest of her college fund away from its originally intended use, but it's good that it's locked down now. She never should have been able to access it. If she only really took 5K because the rest was what she put into it, you should get that much from her trip refunded and tell her she can come up with the rest because that money is for her education. If you just let her use what she took and go to the convention and her dream vacation, she still gets what she wants. Comment 3. NTA, but also don't go full nuclear. We were all dumb kids at one point. 10K is a lot, don't get me wrong. But it's really 5K, 5K is hers as you said. I agree with locking the account. But I would not take it away entirely. Let her go, but just know she's out 5K unless she's willing to pay that back, in which case, goes right back to her, so it's in her best interest to do that. Maybe I'm being too nice about it too. I dunno, I think it's extreme to take her education away over a stupid teenager decision. Do whatever you think is best. But no, you're NTA, you have every right to be upset with her about it. Story 2, getting our neighborhood dog Olympics cancelled instead of bending the rules for a neighbor? I understand that this is a silly issue to have, but it's an issue we have and I need advice. 5 to 6 years ago my HOA decided our neighborhood is boring and encouraged people to come up with ideas/activities to liven things up. This, My Pup Olympics, was born. It's just the neighborhood dogs competing, poorly, in different silly events for 2 days and being rewarded with treats. Early on there would be prizes for the owners of whichever dog won each event, and it really was all fun and games. After a couple years we started doing a paid entry for each event, and the money went toward cash prizes and a donation to a really great local animal shelter, where lots of us got our pups. Might be worth it to note that most people in the neighborhood choose to donate their cash prize toward the shelter fund, so we usually come up with a pretty great donation. People look forward to the Olympics every year. It's ridiculous, but it's fun, and we all loved it. 18 months ago, a new neighbor moved in, and she has a poodle who frequently competes in, and wins, dog competitions. This dog has 1 million followers on Instagram. We all follow the page and obvious root for this dog in the competitions. No issue with the dog itself. However, it ruined Pup Olympics last year. This dog swept every single competition. There is literally one event for senior dogs that it didn't qualify for, and that's the only one that this poodle didn't win. We all just kind of stood there for 2 days and gave cash prizes to the same woman for every event. To make matters worse, she also didn't donate a single extra penny to the shelter fund. Bonus item for if I'm wrong for being judgy here. This has taken an event for families and kinds and turned it into something it was never meant to be. It's like having a professional athlete compete at a high school field day. So, Pup Olympics are happening soon, but this year my committee decided on no competition dogs rule, to make it more fair for the other owners/families. The poodle owner got notice of this and has gone ballistic. Our HOA had a committee meeting and decided in her favor that we couldn't exclude her or her dog if we wanted to have the competition in the neighborhood. I thought about it and then just went ahead and sent a cancellation notice out. Somebody from the HOA board tried to pull it back together, but it just isn't getting much interest. Now the poodle owner has sent me multiple vindictive messages implying that I did this to hurt her personally, and the neighborhood is split 50-50 on who was in the wrong. So, comment 1. NTA. If you had a race for neighborhood kids and an Olympic gold medalist runner showed up to enter, that'd be an our move. This is no different, and the fact that the owner can't understand why her precious shouldn't be allowed to dominate the amateur competitions shows a huge lack of awareness. OP comment. I didn't have space in the post, but to clarify, deciding to cancel was more of a long story short after 4 days of meetings with this woman to try to come up with something agreeable. First, I offered to do a couple of categories for more serious competition dogs, but was told by the HOA that I'm not allowed to host any kind of events that make it seem like any part of this is a real dog competition. Then I tried to restrict how many events each dog can enter, and she wanted that number to be 8. Out of 10 events, she wanted 8. That was the number she got the HOA board to agree with her on, and they basically told me that if I couldn't let that happen, then I couldn't host the competition. Story 3. Telling my 18-year-old sister she does not get to draw so much attention to herself at my wedding and expect me to be okay with it. My sister is 18 and I'm 26. She's in college and moved out of our parents' house in June. Since then my sister has gotten a bunch of tattoos. I'm cool with that, but she knows our parents are not, and she decided she was going to flaunt them all at my wedding for the first time, knowing our parents would react badly to them. She didn't stop there though. She went up to a few family members who are anti-tattoo and was gloating about getting them too. It ended up in a fight between her, our parents and a few extended family members. My sister was smirking the whole time. She was so glad she could get under our parents' skin. She never told me a damn thing about it either. The whole fighting was so distracting, and she approached me at one point during the reception and asked me why I wasn't standing up for her and actually talking to her. I was mad. I admit I was mad. She could have shown them the day before the wedding and let everyone get it out, but she wanted to make sure more people saw and make a bigger scene over it. I ended up kicking several family members out of the wedding because they could not behave, and I pretty much ignored my sister. She realized a few days ago and started texting me asking why I wasn't texting her and why I was being so weird. I ignored her texts because I wasn't ready to talk, but she decided to show up Sunday at my house and asked me why. She told me I was treating her like she did something wrong. I told her she did. That she knew our family would react badly, and she used my wedding day to have that fight. I told her she had so much time to tell them and let things happen, but she waited so she could take so much attention away from my husband and I on our wedding day. I said the fighting was distracting for so many people, the tension was palpable and she knew what she was doing. I told her she made me regret inviting any of them, and I told her that included her. She told me I should be mad at our family, not her, that they were always the ones who did the wrong thing. She brought up how once she was born I was brushed aside and how it wasn't her fault. But it showed why I should be only mad at our family. I told her she didn't get to draw so much attention to herself intentionally and expect me to be okay with it when it was supposed to be my wedding, you know, one of the happiest days for a couple. She started yelling and she told me I was punishing and blaming her unfairly and she thought I understood our parents sucked, etc. She sent me a string of texts yesterday saying I had been so unfair to her. Comment 1. NTA: don't wear white dresses to a wedding, don't propose at a wedding, don't make a pregnancy announcement at a wedding, don't come out at a wedding, don't bring your dog to a wedding. Basically, don't do anything to take attention away from the bride and groom, groom and groom, or bride and bride. It's their day, not yours. Comment 2. NTA: your sister is obviously spoiled and rebellious and all about herself. You probably should have given her an analogy that she could understand, something that would have affected the attention on her personally in order for her to understand. She is so focused on her issues she won't see why you are upset. Comment 3. NTA: everyone is piling blame on your sister and she deserves a lot of it. At best, she kept her tattoos a secret until a time when she knew the family would be less likely to blow up on her. At worst, she did this for exactly the scene that happened. Either way, your wedding was not the time or place for this conflict, and yes, if she wanted to show off her tattoos to the family, she should have had that conversation before your wedding. But the rest of your family should have also known better and saved that fight for another day. They were kicked out because they decided that being judgmental was the most important thing they could be doing at your wedding. Story 4, being the race and why the family vacation has to be cancelled. Okay, to make it short, I'm married for money. My husband is with me for appearances, and we are happy with our arrangement. My husband and I married because I have all the qualifications to please his family, and he takes financial care of me. We are very fond of each other and even love each other. But not in the classical marriage sense. We are like amazing roommates with some benefits. He and I are free to live our lives independently and without stresses. He is not worried about being cut off from his family, and I am finally financially stable and am free to work my job that simply is not as economically beneficial. The problem: my sisters have never approved of my decision. They say I sold myself. Which? Fair. But still, we used to be civil with each other. Last week we had a family barbecue. I went without my husband. Everything was going great until my oldest niece, 21, sat down next to me, and we started talking. And then she asked me, straight up, if I was with my husband for money. I explained to her how we met, our agreement, and so on. She then asked me if I think it would be okay for her to pretend to be her gay best friend's GF. I told her it was up to her to decide, and if there were no negatives to it, like her having actual feelings for him, someone getting hurt like a romantic partner, etc. It was a lovely talk. Strike 2 was, apparently, when my other nieces asked me where my husband was, and I told them that he was on vacation. They asked me why I didn't go with him, and I said that we only sometimes go together to vacations. We usually take little trips together but go on longer vacations with friends or family. My niece, 16, asked me if it was true what her mom and aunt said about me being a gold digger, and I just said I guess so. Like, that doesn't faze me. I know my sisters constantly talk about me behind my back, and I am not ashamed about my marriage at all. So I see no need to lie. Later that night, my sisters cornered me, and we had a fight about my words with my nieces. They said it was completely inappropriate what I told them. That I am free to live my fucked up life but to not let my niece think that it is okay what I do. I called them small-minded and that I was only answering my niece's questions, and I was even honest. They are free to do their own decisions. My sisters kept cornering me, calling me all sorts of names, and saying I was basically influencing their daughters negatively because I was miserable. I said some words back and left, not talking to them the whole week. Now there is a huge fallout because I pulled out of the family vacation because of this fight. But the vacation would be at my husband's summer house. And as I am not going, my husband doesn't feel comfortable lending my family the house. My family has been calling me a huge R, and my sisters said that I was blowing things out of proportion. Comment 1. NTA. You are the gold digger, yet they expect to reap the benefits of the gold even when they judge you for you. Entirely proportionate response, Op. Also, your nieces are old enough to start thinking for themselves, and these are very good conversational topics which are better handled without parental scowl around. Congratulations on your marriage. People forget that marry for love is quite a recent thing, and in not that distant past it was most like a business deal, and if you could find a spouse that treats you with respect and you grow fond and friends together, it was considered a successful marriage. It seems to me that's what you have, even if it is not the fairy tale dream or the religious ideal. P.S. Since so many replies to me seem to lack at least some level of reading comprehension, here I stated you are the gold digger, yet they expect, because her sisters call her that. Not that this is what I call her. Seriously, guys. Read the full text before you go off. Comment 2. Your sisters are hypocrites. If they so disagree with your life choices and find them so abhorrent, then they should not be accepting a family vacation at your summer house. Rather than berating you about being a fucked up role model, they should look deep at themselves, at what values, money grubbing, hypocrisy, nastiness towards family members, they are showing their own children. NTA. Don't feel guilty, your marriage is your own business, you're equals yourself and husband, and definitely do not host those horrid people. I might reach out independently to the 21-year-old to let her know the door is open, if you have a good separate relationship. But keep on living your life. Extra story, cancelling my birthday party because my parents cut my sister a slice of my custom-made cake the night before my party when she cried for it. My sister 11F is the miracle golden child. She always gets what she wants whenever she wants. My parents are always trying to please her and make her happy. They always make a big effort on her birthday and do whatever that she asks for, but they can barely remember mine, and they are always conveniently broke. This year I wanted to enjoy my birthday, so I babysat and even mowed lawns to make this possible. My birthday was a few days ago and the party was scheduled for the day after. I have been planning for weeks and invited all my friends. I bought the food, snacks and drinks and picked up my custom-made cake, which I was really excited about. It was just perfect. The night before the party, I noticed that my cake, which was in the fridge, had a huge slice missing. When I asked my dad, he shrugged and nonchalantly said that my sister was crying for it and it was just a small piece, my friends wouldn't notice. I yelled at him, asking him why he would do something like that when it wasn't even bought with his money and that my sister could have waited for tomorrow. This made him angry and he went on a tirade about how I think I'm an adult because of my stupid party, implying at the fact that I did everything myself and did not ask them for anything. I ended up calling it off because I was not able to change the location last minute as I didn't have the means to, and I was so hurt, I didn't want to host it at home anymore. One of my friends told me that calling it off was an overreaction and that I could have just grit my teeth and gone through with doing it at home rather than cancelling just hours before. Comment 1. NTA. But next year see if you can have your party at someone else's house. Don't invite your family. Next time something like this happens, just show the cake the way it is. Let people ask and let your parents answer. Comment 2. Cancelling the entire thing may have been a bit disproportional to missing out on the opportunity to present a pristine cake, but you do you, I guess. Either way, NTA. Your parents missed a valid opportunity to teach no. They aren't doing you, your sister, or them any favors here. Learning how to say and receive no is absolutely necessary in life. Instead, they've reinforced a belief your feelings and autonomy do not matter, and that your sister can get her selfish way by having a tantrum. 11 is more than old enough to be told no, that isn't mine or yours. We don't get to help ourselves to things that are not ours just because we want to. Comment 3. Sweetheart, you are 16. In 2 years or so you will go to college. You will no longer be there and you will be able to surround yourself with people who will have your back. You will be able to decide how often and how long you will visit them. Also, sooner or later they will realize that this kind of enabling is truly a disservice to your sister. They will be miserable, but quite frankly they will deserve every minute of it. NTA